Hello and welcome to this PriceAJob tutorial. In this video, we'll take a look at how to add timesheets to your PriceAJob accounting system. To add a timesheet, go to the Timesheets module here in the left-hand sidebar. And this opens the timesheet module, which allows you to keep records of your employee or subcontractor work hours and expenses. Here we see a list of our employees with timesheets submitted already. And up at the top right here, we can see the date range that this table is filtered for. And we can see up at the top right here that we're only viewing this by a single week, in this case, week 10. If we wanted to view a different week, we could use the arrows here to scroll back to week 9, week 8, or forward to week 11 or 12. If we wanted to choose a different date off of the calendar, we can do so by selecting the calendar here and choosing the date range that we wanted to view the timesheets for. If we wanted to see our timesheets by a custom date, we can select the By Date tab here, and then choose the single day that we're looking for those timesheets. And if we're looking for a more custom report, we can click the Report tab here and input our custom dates. So here we would input the From date, and we could choose that from the calendar, and the To date, and select that on the calendar. Alternatively, instead of custom dates, we could choose last week, this month, last month, or for the fiscal year. And we can also choose to filter this report for all staff or only specific employees. Let's keep this simple and let's look at this by week. If we wanted to add another employee or subcontractor to this timesheet, we would just select Add Person and then choose our employee from the drop-down list. In this case, we'll choose Alex. And then we can input Alex's hours here. So on Monday, we know he worked 8 hours, and Tuesday he worked 8 hours. But perhaps Wednesday he had more irregular hours, in which case we could use the hours calculator here to help us to determine the time that he actually worked. So on this day, he arrived at 10 a.m. and he worked until 5 p.m. But PriceAJob uses a 24-hour clock, so we'll input that as 17 o'clock. And he had a 1.5 hour break, so we'll input that as 1.5. And we see that PriceAJob interpreted that as 1 hour and 5 minutes, which is not correct. So let's go ahead and input that as 1.30 for an hour and 30 minutes. And the calculator has totaled that his time for that day was 5 hours and 30 minutes at his normal work rate of $25 an hour. And if we have another entry to put for this same day, we can add another item here. So let's say that maybe later in the evening he showed up at 9 o'clock, which would be 2100 hours, and he stayed for 2 hours, so we'll say 2300. And in this case, this would have been overtime. And it looks like we don't have his overtime rate set up yet, so we'll just input that manually at $35 an hour. And PriceAJob calculates that and adds it to his timesheet for the day. Now when we close this window, we can see his total hours have been added for the day and calculated for the week. At any point in time, you can come back and add hours for any of your employees by just adding it here in the field. We'll just add 8 hours there for Friday for Tyrell and 8 hours for Alex on Friday as well. And here at the bottom, we can see our total timesheets for this project, 2,712. And if at any point you want to see the calculations, you can just open this calculator again to see the calculations for that specific day. And if any of these employees or subcontractors need to be removed from this timesheet, perhaps you made a mistake and assigned them to the wrong project. You can remove this employee by clicking the Delete bin. If we go to our accounting overview, we can see that this amount has been added to our timesheet summary here in the Hours window. If we click on this, it's another shortcut to bring us back to our Timesheets window. And that's how to add timesheets to PriceAJob's accounting system. Thank you for using PriceAJob.